Most people who are aware of Martin Scorsese's upcoming gangster movie The Irishman are delighted that the likes of Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci have reunited with Scorsese for a final film. As if this wasn't enough, screen legend Al Pacino, who has never worked with Scorsese, is also in the film, playing Jimmy Hoffa in the movie's second most significant role. Pacino and Scorsese seem made for each other, and both have gone on record praising each other's ability in their craft. It's incredible that they haven't already worked on a project together, and they came close on a number of occasions, such as Pacino being sought after for the roles of Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas and Frank Costello in The Departed. There's a huge amount of big-name, top-tier caliber actors from numerous generations that Marty has made movies with, and yet the big anomaly for so long was Al Pacino. But now that time is over, and audiences can't wait to see Al Pacino, who usually sticks to TV projects these days, showcasing his acting chops in a Scorsese gangster picture, despite the fact that he's past his prime and almost 80 years old. However, some people think it's too late. There are those who, whilst grateful that Marty and Al will finally be teaming up, believe that the time has gone for Pacino to give a worthwhile performance in a big film. And if he was cast in a Scorsese movie, it should have been done years ago. So let's examine this claim. Is Pacino right for the role of Union leader Jimmy Hoffa, or is it too late? In my personal opinion, if you said to me 30 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago that Al Pacino would be playing Jimmy Hoffa, I would say that's a perfect casting. Of course, he doesn't look or sound anything like the man, but that doesn't mean anything in acting. In my opinion, it would be a terrific role for a 90s Pacino to play, when he was hamming it up and chewing the scenery in films like Heat and Any Given Sunday. Hoffa is an in-your-face character, confident in his own overconfidence, short but brash and bold. It describes so many Pacino characters, and he'd easily be able to slip into the role. Al was terrific at playing larger-than-life characters that dominated the screen, delivering verbal beatdowns in Glengarry Glen Ross and Scent of a Woman, among other films. Though The Irishman is about hitman Frank Sheeran, I've said in previous videos that the story really belongs to Hoffa, and it showcases the dominant alpha effect he has on those around him, again one of the most remarkable traits of Pacino's acting. Even in the new millennium, when Pacino started to star in less than brilliant films, he still gave great performances in many movies. His infectious energy was on fine display in movies like Insomnia, but that was almost 20 years ago. In recent films like Hangman and Paterno, Pacino looks slow, lethargic, and absent of the signature ferociousness he often displayed in his prime. Obviously it's no insult, I mean the guy is almost 80 years old and we'd be lucky to be as fit as he is at his age. But even still, it doesn't look like the same old hoo-ha Pacino. For me, his age is the only detriment I can see to his performance. If he is getting slower and losing his vigour, it will massively affect the performance, because Hoffa is a character that needs to be energetic, needs to be constantly on his toes and the centre of attention. But you could make the argument that Pacino gave lazy performances in a lot of recent films, like when he and De Niro both phoned it in on Righteous Kill, because of the poor material and he didn't feel like showing up. But who can say for sure? He has said that sometimes he doesn't even know why he says yes to certain projects and he just likes to work. So it may be that he stepped it up when he was filming Scorsese's movie because of the caliber of the project. I personally do believe he brought his A-game when they filmed The Irishman. Pacino was talking about it for years before they filmed it, talked about it numerous times and how about he hoped it would be made. That doesn't sound like a person who doesn't feel like turning up to work. Going off of the book the film is based on, I Heard You Paint Houses, if Pacino does bring oomph into his role, I can see him knocking it out of the park. Aside from De Niro, he's got the best role to play. For sure it's the showiest role, one that suits him to a T. If the Pacino that we know shows up, which I think will happen, then I do think he could possibly give the most memorable performance of the film. It's probably worth mentioning that the Hollywood new wave actors were also quite known for not wanting to be shown up by each other, back in the heyday in the 70s. Of course, no one's reputation is on the line here, but surely Pacino and co will know audiences and critics will be talking about who gave the best performance in The Irishman, and he'd surely want it to be him. In terms of his looks, at times in recent movies, Pacino looks like he's going to slip and fall into a coffin, but judging the set photos of The Irishman, I honestly don't think he looks too bad. I think he looks pretty good, to be honest. He wouldn't pass for a 40 or 50-year-old, but he doesn't look almost 80. And obviously, as almost everyone who knows about the project knows, CGI will be used to de-age Pacino so he looks the appropriate age for the scenes he is in. And the last obstacle I can see for Pacino is the voice. Pacino sounds old, there's no two ways about it. And I'm really interested in seeing if they'll leave his voice as it is for all the different time periods, which I'm guessing they will. Because if they go as far as to change both his appearance and his voice in post-production, it ends up begging the question, why didn't you just use a different actor? So what do you think? Was Pacino the right man for the role of Jimmy Hoffa, or do you think they should have given him a different role given his age, or perhaps not cast him in the movie at all? Was Pacino only cast for the novelty of being able to say that they got Pacino, De Niro and Pesci in the same film for the first and only time in film history? Or will this go down as the last great Pacino role? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.